It was so exciting this year to come back to Web Summit and to be able to meet last year's pitch winner. And so that is my guest this week. You are going to want to listen up to hear about the future of color. And today I have the two co-founders, is it?
Yeah.
Co-founders, Roya and Sarah. And I'm going to have you just share a little bit about yourselves and about the amazing company that really is the future of color. So why don't you start off, Roya?
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be here and meet you again this year. I'm Roya. I'm CEO and co-founder of Light One. What we do, we just simply said, we are trying to make the color world sustainable and clean so we all can enjoy beautiful sceneries as well as the aesthetics that we really can't live without in our lives.
Amazing. Tell us a little bit about your role with the company.
Yes, it's a really interesting role. As an early stage startup, we both wear many hats. Essentially, I'm taking care of like the business partnerships as well as, all the relationships that we are building. And Sarah can tell you all about herself as well. She's essentially in charge of all the cool innovations that are coming into our pipelines. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm Sarah Graham. I'm the co-founder and the chief innovation officer at Light One. So we're working with microorganisms to grow these colors that Roy is talking about, which is so exciting because I'm obsessed with bacteria and fungi. And so it's really exciting to be able to put that towards a mission like this. Yeah, so my role is really looking forward to what is the future for this company and what is the future for, color and how we can get that spread, as far as we can. Our team has really been focused on getting us to market, and we have a very clear path there. And so now we need to always make sure we know what's coming next and how we can, one up and continue to grow and dominate. So we're excited.
Dominate
the color industry with our microbes.
I like that power word. Now, the listeners haven't heard as much as I have heard because I heard you pitch last year. And just so people know, at the Web Summit, there are five rounds of pitchers, 6.
It
35
felt a lot
people.
more than that, but I believe you.
At least this year, there are, I think, 5 or 6 rounds, 35 people pitching.
Right.
You won first round and then went into, and I say you, Roya, but it's the company one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were there cheering her on.
You only had 3 minutes to talk about what you do. And then you went to the semifinals and then the finals and you won.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that moment, yes.
It was amazing. I was excited for you. And I was like,
cool.
Oh, I didn't get to interview you last year, but now I get to.
Okay, yeah.
But the listeners don't know as much about the problem with the way colors are formed today and what you're doing about it to make it different, and even like the problems with natural color.
Yeah.
So who wants to take that on?
I think colors are extremely underlooked. Like, it's just like a topic that we don't really talk enough about it. And again, nobody can just see the world black and white tomorrow. It might be artsy and cool for a day or two, but we're going to all get super bored of it. So the color industry is one of the most pollutive industries that we experience. It's just like all behind the scene. We get to enjoy the vibrancy of it all, but nobody really talks enough about it. So what's happening, over 85% of the colors that are used in every single product that we use every single second of our days, including the clothing, cosmetics, food, you name it, they are made from petroleum. So they're very toxic. They cause rare cancers. We cause rare cancers that are directly linked to how these colorful chemicals break down in our bodies. We cause very deep issues for the environment and people that live around these facilities. These are just to name a few. I can go on and on and on about it. So what we are doing, we are completely going against that because Sarah and I both come from microbiology backgrounds. We collaborated with organisms in our previous projects to really learn from nature and find a way to scale that in a commercial way that we all can like apply everything around us. So yeah, the issues are a lot. We can't just like stop talking about how damaging this industry is, and there are so many better ways to do it. Microorganisms naturally have been doing this for billions of years without us even noticing. They're just quietly doing it in nature, and we just sometimes need to pause, listen, and learn from how nature is doing it, and use technologies to be able to then adapt it to our commercializations or industry demands and requirements.
Yeah,
thanks.
so my background started in fashion design. That's where I started my career. And I always dreamt of being a fashion designer. And then once I started working in the industry, I was realizing all of these impacts that, I was complicit in environmental and social, like through the supply chains and the workers that are working in the system. And color was such a big one because it's so heavy in the chemicals, and like 90% of the colors that are used in textiles is synthetic. So that's where we wanted to start and really expand. But even when our customers and others are trying to be more sustainable and choose different alternatives to synthetics like plant-based, they're having to sort of compromise on the performance. So they're
vibrancy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Vibrancy, the wash fastness, the UV fastness are really not anywhere near what you can achieve with synthetics. So it's a really hard decision, and they're not scalable either, because if you imagine taking all this agricultural land to grow plants for dyeing, for how much dye that we actually use, it won't work. So we need
Sustainable.
alternatives, and like I love natural dyes and they're so beautiful and like have a place, but we really need alternatives like ours to be able to transform that industry.
Wow. How has this not been done before? Really?
Hey, that's $1 million question.
Well, that's an amazing that you've come up with it. So maybe give us a little bit of the journey from having this idea, maybe over coffee or whatever it was in the lab, to where you are today, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners have had ideas and are thinking about some, and they might be thinking it's probably been done before, but how did you take it from that idea stage to actually where it is today?
It's a very interesting question, because both Sarah and I come from a completely multidisciplinary background. I am not just using that word because I know that's kind of like redundant these days, but I really mean it. We were designers. We went to science and teaching ourselves science, and then operating and like really in the lab settings under supervision of like very well-known scientists around the world to learn it by practice. To have that industrial lens to see what are the gaps in the supply chains and how we can really like help bridge it with how nature has been doing it. So having ideas is important, but it's also another step to take it away and try to find the language around it, try to find a way to make it possible. I remember myself really forcing myself into biology labs as a designer, not a scientist. And then it was at the time that nobody was like really taking this field as a viable yet to be, and it was just very, very new. And it took a lot of door knockings to really get in the labs to try to then bring these ideas to life. So that curiosity aspect, that believing in believing in the idea and all of that is a very, very important part of it. Before this, I was working with algae for a very, very long time. That's my first love. And we knew that, I knew it's making vibrant colors. I just didn't know how from there we can scale it. Then it takes a lot of like research and a lot of practice to really bring it to life.
Yeah. Before we go to you, Sarah, I just wanted to check in with something you said, Roya. Because you were a designer, you had to force your way in.
Oh, yeah.
I do have to ask, did any of it have to do with you being a woman?
Yes, you can never deny that. Sadly, I feel like as a woman, we just filter that out. It's happening every single day in every single aspect of our lives, but we're just so used to it that we don't even notice it anymore, We've become numb about it a little bit. But yes, it did. But more importantly, it was about the fact that, hey, you are a designer, you're pitching this very futuristic idea that doesn't exist in the world yet, and you don't have funding, so who's going to do it? And it really, like for me personally, and Sarah has a similar background, for me it took a lot of effort to really get one of these amazing professors in UBC to really believe in my idea and allowing me and mentoring me to bringing it to life. And from there, it really like went viral.
So Sarah, why don't you pick up there? So you pushed it through the lab, you're getting great results. Where does the whole business fit in, and where are you today?
Yeah, I think the scalability and piece is so important because, it's been known for forever that microbes make color because you can see it visually, right? So it's really about how we're going to apply that in a way that's going to get adopted at scale. So for us, that was like a really big differentiator for us as we see this. And some of the colors that we've been working on are first of their kind, like the black that we've achieved is really exciting. I'm so proud of what our team has developed because when we're looking around at our competitors, there's really nobody like us, which is so cool. So in that aspect, like that's really pushed the customer development and the pull that we're getting from the market because we're the only ones that have this black that's working across both natural and synthetic yarns, which is really exciting. But we're not just staying within that textile. The same molecules that we're making for our textile dyes can be applied to all of these other applications. So inks, we have formulations for inks that we've developed, different cosmetic applications that we're working on, integrating them into plastics. So whether it's conventional plastics or bioplastics as colorant. So really everywhere, we're not stopping just with that textile. With our first color, we can plug into so many different places without having to really change what we're scaling up.
Nice. And I can't help but comment on your bright lipstick. So if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to us on the podcast, go see us on YouTube because we're there as well. So you can have your color in cosmetics. Yes. And I'm guessing that's really great for people with skin issues
Absolutely.
And allergies and
Completely.
all that.
You know, we should not just label it for allergies or skin issues. Even people with no specific medical or skin concern, they will have it eventually at some point using all these toxins on us and our body. You know, skin is one of the most fascinating organs of our body that, it absorbs everything, all these chemicals and whatnot. And we just do it because we don't have a better option. It's just for lack of better option that we've been operating this way for a very long time.
And we don't know. Also, a lot of people don't know how bad these are, really.
Yeah, and this is like exactly what happens, that people don't talk about it enough. And there's not a whole lot of education around it. And a lot of the time is associated with if something is certified or it's approved by these organizations that give us certifications such as FDA and whatnot, it's safe then. But that's not necessarily the case. A lot of the, especially colorants in the food that we consume every single day, we put in our own bodies, are direct linked to very, very evil cancers. And they're approved, So I feel like it's just like that moment of pausing and really thinking about our consumption and what we put on and in our bodies as well as the environment is pretty critical.
Mm-hmm. So in a moment, I want to get into a little bit more about how it has been just to be running a business. But first, I because you said there's this wonderful black, Sarah. Mm-hmm. Are there other colors?
Absolutely.
Where are we at in the color wheel or the color spectrum that you've developed?
Yeah, we developed a platform, so we're able to achieve multiple different colors from our single production strain, which is really important because if we were to be scaling up a new strain every time we needed a color, that's lots of money, it's lots of time, lots of R&D. So that's allowing us to get into these different industries quicker, and it's allowing us to widen our colors. So we have quite a few that are in the lab right now that we're really excited about, and can't wait to get them out.
So you already have black out there. People are competing to get it from you because
that is actually true. We have
that's why I'm saying
an overwhelming demand coming our way, and it is really good as an early stage startup to have that much demand because usually it's the other way around. Mm-hmm. But it's also pretty overwhelming to be receiving this many big clients that is a dream to work with. Mm-hmm. They're coming to us right now. They want to have their hands on our black that is frankly the only pure, sustainable, clean black that performs across all different supply chains and products. Yes, just for your listeners and the audience, black is one of the most demanded and consumed and the most toxic color in the world. Usually when you see a black, it's not just one black, it's a soup of chemicals and a lot of auxiliary that is combined to get to this depth of the color that we see it, and we as consumers we demand it, and to the quality that we want it, and that creates a soup of chemicals that is just untreatable. And even if they treat a few of these chemicals out of it, then there's still a lot that just gets dumped into the waterways and cause issues. And some of the so-called so far sustainable alternatives out there are a biochar. And for those of you who don't know what a biochar is essentially like burning waste or burning wood to get like a carbon black out of it and using that. That itself, although that it comes from a natural source or organic source in that sense, is not necessarily the most sustainable option, and it doesn't apply to all different applications that the industry really demands. For example, because it's a non-soluble pigment, it doesn't apply to a lot of like dyes or other applications that the industry still needs, and it doesn't really necessarily perform to the standards in a lot of areas and products as well. So we are the
Except
only one who's
yours
made
does.
this. Exactly.
That does.
And that's where we come in.
Amazing. So I've got a couple of last questions. We'll do almost like a rapid fire.
Sure.
First one is, where are you most proud of yourself in this journey? Oh, Sarah's got it.
No, I don't. That's
Okay.
I was going to say, oh,
Where are
wow.
you most proud of yourselves?
Well, I guess I've really seen myself grow into confidence in being in rooms or conferences even like this. And at the beginning, you're kind of nervous to like talk to people or like feel like you don't really have something to give. Everyone's further than you. Everybody's like doing this for a lot longer and more established. So I guess I feel like I've grown a lot in my confidence and feeling like, you know, I'm here with something to say and like can walk through some of these rooms and start conversations, and I feel good about that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna and for Roya, how about you? What is the biggest growth that you've had because of all the pitching you've had to do for this?
I think every single audience is different, and recognizing that and really tuning your language to the audience in front of you so they can absorb your information the quickest and the easiest possible way, regardless of if they're going to become a part of this journey, either as an investor or as a, teammate in the future or consultant or advisor. Anyhow, regardless of that, I want to make sure that everybody listening to this story leaving with a message, leaving with like added knowledge, added value to their lives. And that's honestly like something that I've been like really proud of myself, because like regardless of this, like I have people that come to me and be like, oh, have you heard about this? And as a result of it, I have stopped eating these Cheetos and this and that. I'm like, oh my God, yes, this is exactly what I want to have. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like beyond just myself, but like one of the most proud I feel is when we're like in our office and the whole team's there brainstorming, writing on the whiteboards. Everybody is like pouring so much of their heart into this project that we started, and like we're now, you know, like so many people are involved and feel ownership over it as well. And like our team is like one of the most, when that's all going on, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool.
We did this.
Look at our people here.
Exactly.
Look what we're doing.
Like from where we started to all of these people who now Light One is their thing too is, really exciting.
Awesome.
I love our team.
I've got one final question that's going to be around just what's your final message to everyone. But before we do that, how do the listeners find you?
Yes, you can find us on LinkedIn, or that's where we are most active. Or you can also like get through us through our website, which is lite-1.bio. And those are the best two options, I would say. Yeah.
Amazing. And we'll make it even easier for the listeners. It's all going to be in the show notes and the description. So you can just click through,
I didn't
check
have to
out what they're
spell it
doing. Well, you did, because some people are listening and they will try to type it in and we'll do it wrong. So it's good to do that. So what's your final message to the women listening? A lot of them are business owners or busy, successful women. What just final thing you want to say?
I guess like congrats and keep going. It's so hard. It's such a hard journey, and every day is like so many ups and downs, and just make sure that you like pause and take time to like think about your achievements. That's something that we always talk about because neither of us do it very well. Like we're like, you know, you achieve one thing and you're on to the next. Like, okay, let's go. Now we got that. Let's go. You like really need to stop and look at what you've built, and all these small achievements along the way is so important to recognize in yourself, and it's really hard. So I would suggest doing that.
Okay.
I just want to say stay curious. Even us at Light One, where we started to where we are today, it is very, very, very different in a good way, because being adaptive, really like constantly looking for new ways, new modes of operating, new way of like leading a team, new discoveries, all of that aspect, and not necessarily just being satisfied with one plan that we all set at the beginning and just like trying to make that happen. I feel like that's I don't think that's the most sufficient or sustainable way of like leading a business, and that adaptability and that curiosity is what fuels the fire, especially in the very hard days.
And shout out to Microbes, everyone. If you haven't gotten into bacteria yet, go do it because it's the coolest thing on the planet, and they do everything for us. And I will never stop loving bacteria. And you feel the same, but also algae. Shout out to algae.
You need to speak to kids about that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. So celebrate the successes, stay curious. Thank you so much for
Thanks for
being
having
here. Congrats on
Thanks
all
for
the
having us.
success
This
you've
is
had.
exciting.
For saying yes to coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it. And so listeners, make sure you go check them out. These two ladies, go connect. They've invited you to connect with them on LinkedIn. Not everyone will do that. And make sure you check out their website and share it with someone you think could move their business forward in some way. An investor maybe, or someone who wants more than just black. So thank you again. All the best at your session a little bit later on main stage.
I just want to say one last thing. Don't forget your power as consumers to make any of these shifts, because at the end of the game, we both come from corporate industries where we were designing and developing materials for a lot of the things that you're wearing and touching every day. Do not forget that at the end of a game, we were doing that. The corporates currently are doing that based on what you are asking. So no pressure, but there's a lot of pressure in just existing in the world. And please do well.
Read your labels.
Choose well. Yeah.
Yes. Amazing. Thank you for that. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. If you haven't yet, subscribe. Share with a friend who needs to hear this message as well. And until next time, stay dynamic. Bye.
Bye.